Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for our Srila Prabhupada study session. We'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauramani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yakrapātamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in. We are studying the book The Path of Perfection by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we were studying about the yoga, the linking process. What is that linking process? Not that we just understand what we are supposed to do, but we actually employ our senses in the service of the Lord. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchate. That is what was described in the first chapter, which is, what was the title of the chapter? The title of the chapter is Yoga as Action, right? How do we perform a yoga? By action, right? How do we perform action? We saw the action is of three types: akarma, vikarma, and karma itself, right? Both karma and vikarma will give us results, which is either positive results or sinful reactions. But we perform akarma. That means we perform our work for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, and that is what is yoga in action. Where we unite with the Lord in interest of the Lord. We unite with the Lord to serve the interests of the Lord, not for sense gratification. That was the subject matter of the first chapter. Now let's go on to the second chapter of this book, Path of Perfection. This chapter is entitled Mastering the Mind and Senses. Okay. Anyone would like to read? Yeah, Leela Nandini Mataji, go ahead. Mastering the Mind and Senses.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranams. Yes, Mataji.
Chapter 2, Mastering the Mind and Senses. Yam Sanyasam Yadi Prahur Yogam Tam Vidi Pandava Na He Asanyasta Sankalpo Yogi Bhavadi Kaschanaha. What is called renunciation you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces his desire for sense gratification. Bhagavad Gita 6.2. This is the real purpose of practice of yoga. The word yoga means to join. Although we are naturally part and parcel of the Supreme, in our conditioned state, we are now separated. Because of our separation, we are reluctant to understand God and to speak of our relationship with Him, and are even inclined to think of such discussion as a waste of time. In a church or in a Krishna conscious temple, we speak of God, but people in general are not very interested. They think it is a waste of time, a kind of recreation in the name of spiritual advancement, and they believe that this time could be better used to earn money or enjoy themselves in a nightclub or restaurant. Therefore, it is due to sense of enjoyment that we are not attracted to God. And therefore, it is said that those who are addicted to sense enjoyment cannot become yogis. That is, they are not eligible to participate in the yoga system. One cannot advance in any yoga system if he partakes in sense gratification and then sits down to try to meditate. This is just a colossal hoax. Such contradictory activity has no meaning. This is just a no meaning. First of all, yoga means controlling the senses. Niyama. The niyama. There are 8 stages of yoga: yama, niyama, asana, dhyana, dharana, pranayama, pratyahara, and samadhi. In the 6th chapter, in which the Lord speaks of Sankhya Yoga system, he states from the very beginning that one cannot become a yogi unless one renounces the desire for sense gratification. Therefore, if one indulges in his senses, he cannot be accepted as a yogi. Yoga demands strict celibacy. In the yoga system, there is no sex life. If one indulges in sex, he cannot become a yogi. Many so called yogis come from India to America and say, yes, yes, can do it, whatever you like. You can have as much as sex if you like. Just meditate. I will give you some mantra and you will give me some money. This is all nonsense. According to the authoritative statements of Sri Krishna, one cannot become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. This is explicitly stated as the first condition for yoga practice.
Hare
Arikshor
Krishna.
Muni
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Mataji. A very wonderful point, isn't it? Prabhupada, this is what is called cutting statement, right? Yeah, that's why Prabhupada actually explains what the meaning of guru. The meaning of guru is heavy, right? Not just we tell tell, you want to, we want to hear what we want to hear. Right, a guru is not meant for that. Guru is not meant to gratify our senses by saying, "Oh, very nice, you're doing very well." Right? It is said that from Acharya say that if we are glorified by our guru, that means it is a sign of danger. If people are appreciating us, it means a sign of danger. That means it's a fall down. Because appreciation is more difficult for us to take it in the right spirit. Right? When somebody corrects us, chastises us, it's very easy to take it in the right spirit because that person is actually helping us grow in Krishna consciousness, isn't it? When somebody tells you, oh, Medhavini, you're doing it wrong, you should be doing it like this. Especially if that person is my Siksha Guru. It is a blessing for me because that person is helping me advance in Krishna consciousness. Is telling me how to do that something correctly. Right? But if somebody keeps on praising us, oh, you're doing this so well, you're so wonderful, right? That is very difficult to digest. Why? Because we are not qualified enough to take it in the right spirit, right? That might just go up and increase our false ego. Already we are fallen, and increase in false ego means falling down faster, isn't it? So that's what Prabhupada is telling here. The guru means he will cut. Right? Guru means does not say that, oh, you do whatever you want. You give me some, I will give you some mantra, you give me some money, I will give you some mantra, and in this way you will advance in devotional service. No, that is a false guru. Right? It is not even a guru. Guru means heavy. Guru means one who speaks evam yo veti tattvataha. What is the tattva? What is the truth? He speaks the truth. And clearly tells that the sense gratification and devotional service cannot go together. Right? They cannot go together. I want to, morning I will do chanting, afternoon I will watch TV serial, evening I will watch cricket match, at night I will do whatever I want. But then I am practicing devotional service. I am a devotee. Yes, you are a devotee. The holy name will help. But how long? How many lifetimes are we going to take? Right? But now we have the association of devotees, we have ISKCON, we have Prabhupada's books, we have this association of devotees, we have the Zoom sessions where we join and hear about the pastimes of the Lord. We have the association of devotees, we have devotees who will correct us, right? There are so many people, right? Otherwise, where is the time for us to correct others, right? Everyone is so busy in their own life. Where is the time to tell others or to explain to others, right? Only devotees are so magnanimous and so compassionate. The devotees want to come together, they want to help others, they want to correct us. Why? Because they want us to advance in Krishna consciousness. More so to speak of a guru, right? So according to the authoritative statements of Krishna, one cannot become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification, right? Unless we give up, at least we theoretically we understand that the more I want to gratify my senses, the lesser I am going to advance in Krishna consciousness. The more time it is going to take for me to advance in Krishna consciousness. That is the first condition for yoga practice. First condition. In fact, even in Bhakti Yoga, at least there is this opportunity to dovetail our consciousness, right? Whatever we like to do, we do it for the pleasure of the Lord. Like sing for the pleasure of the Lord. We like to dance, we dance for the pleasure of the Lord. We like to cook and nice food. Then we offer nice foodstuffs, give it to the Lord, offer it to the Lord, and then have Krishna Prasadam, right? So like that, there is an opportunity to dovetail only in Bhakti Yoga. In all the other yoga systems, whether it is, Ashtanga yoga or whether it is pranayama or whatever, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, etc. No, there is not even an iota of sense gratification that's possible, right? We just have to sit down in one place, close our eyes, focus on, the point between the eyebrows, and whatnot. They focus on Paramatma, focus on this, that. But hard we know our capacity of focus, right? When we sit for chanting Hare Krishna, that time we know the truth all comes out, right? Otherwise, we think we are so focused in our work. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we know how much focused we are, because except for chanting, our mind will do everything else, and then we need to bring our mind back into chanting Hare Krishna, right? So we have been given this easiest process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada says the process is very simple, but we have made our lives complicated, that we no longer know how to be simple in our life, right? When we become simple in our life, we simply have to, have basic food, clothing, and shelter, and then we simply have to sit and chant Hare Krishna. But now we've made our life complicated. We want a 3 BHK, we want a 4 BHK, we want a nice, fine jewelry and clothes and, all these things, compete with others, bigger car, everything. So we've complicated our life so much that we have to work so much that we don't have time for exclusive devotional service, right? We have complicated our life, right? So to the extent, but Bhakti Yoga even allows it, right? To the extent we are dedicating the results of our activities in the service of the Lord, to the extent we have our morning program intact, right? Our chanting is also proper, our hearing is also proper. Until 9 o'clock, we're able to complete the entire morning program, chanting minimum 16 rounds, etc. Then after that, we are sufficiently equipped to fight with Maya, go to office, earn money with the proper integrity, with sincerity, and then utilize it in the service of the Lord, right? We have so many opportunities. If we earn money, if we have some nice skills, we have resources, we can utilize it nicely for the pleasure of the Lord. So that is why our movement is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What is our consciousness in which what we are doing? Whether we are earning money, whether we are doing devotional service, whether we are talking, whether we are sleeping, what is our consciousness? Is our consciousness to serve? Then Krishna is Baba Grihi Janardana. Krishna accepts our intention. Krishna accepts our love. Krishna accepts our devotion. Krishna does not need our parotas, our paneer butter masala, our rasgulla, our Szechuan fried rice. Krishna does not need that. But Krishna looks at what is the consciousness in which that Szechuan fried rice or the paneer butter masala or the noodles have been prepared. If that consciousness is to serve and please the Lord, then Krishna is satisfied, right? At our stage, that is enough, right? Because, we are grihasthas, we need to also ensure that our family also enjoys the process of Krishna consciousness. So we don't artificially announce, no noodles, no fried rice, no Szechuan fried rice, no Manchurian. No, we can prepare all of that according to the standards, according to the Sattvic standards that we've learned from our seniors. Prepare, offer nicely to the Lord, and then offer to our children. In this way, we are encouraging ourselves as well as the people around us to practice Krishna consciousness in a way that is susukam kartum avyayam, very joyfully performed. But we need to be careful. We can be a little flexible with the details of how we are doing things, but you have to be fixed. You have to be sthira. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekaha kurunandan. You have to be very strict with the principles, right? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and eating only Krishna Prasadam, honoring only Krishna Prasadam, and we're doing our minimum 16 rounds early in the morning. The first activity that we do. If you're very, very clear about all of this, then we can vary a little bit. Grihasthas have that little bit of luxury, right? We don't have to do Mangalarati exactly at 4:30, right? We do Mangalarati after we finish our rounds. We do it at, say 6:30, 7 o'clock, right? So that much of leeway is given to Grihasthas. right? Because we manage a lot of things. The children have to go to school, we have to prepare, boga, then take take the prasadam, pack it in their lunchbox, or they have to have early breakfast, etc. So very easily we can dovetail because of Prabhupada's instructions, because of the books we are studying now, especially Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, those books. Right? It gives an insight as to how we can apply these principles in our life. It is not that it is theoretical, right? Gyan mil raha hai, no. So we are able to understand from Prabhupada's books how we apply these principles in our daily life. How we can advance in our Krishna consciousness, being grahasthas, being a mother, being a wife, being a father, being a son, grandson, grandfather, grandmother, whatever be our social position, we can still practice Krishna consciousness very nicely, and we can please Guru and Gauranga. So that is what the entire thing is, right? Not artificial renunciation. What is that verse? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Mukhyate, right? We are Yukta Vairagya. We are not Falgu Vairagya. We don't say, I don't accept this material, this material. No, nothing is material. Everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord, and a devotee utilizes like that. And that is Yukta Vairagya. That is actual, real renunciation. Like that. All right. So let's continue reading. Who'll read now? Sridhar Prabhu, go ahead. आरुरुक्षोर मुनेर योगम कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगरूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Prabhu. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu. Able to hear you.
For one who is a neophyte in the eightfold yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who has already attained to yoga session of all material activities is said to be the mean. Bhagavad Gita 6.3. According to the verse, there are those who attempting to reach the perfectional stage and those who have already attained that stage. As long as one not situated on the perfectional platform, he must engage in so many works. In the West, and there are many yoga societies attempting to practice asana system, and therefore they practice sitting in different posture. That may help, but it is only a preliminary process on the path to attain the real yoga platform. The real yoga system is the perfection stage. Is far different from this bodily gymnastic. It is important to understand, however, that from the beginning, a Krishna conscious person is situated on the platform of meditation because he is always thinking of Krishna. Being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activities. Yet English I could not able to continue. Please.
Yada hinendriyadeshu na karmashvanu sajjate sarva sankalpa sanyasam yoga.
Hare Krishna. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when having renounced all material desires. He neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. This is actually the perfection. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So here in this verse, Prabhupada is talking about what we mentioned as Yukta Vairagya, right? So not to renounce activities. What do we have to renounce? We have to renounce only sense gratification, right? We perform the same activities we were discussing the other day, isn't it? If a devotee also goes to office, a so-called non-devotee or somebody who's not yet realized that Krishna is Lord and I'm the servant of the Lord, even he or she goes to office. They also cook, we also cook. They also talk to people, we also talk to people. But what is the difference? The difference is in the consciousness. When we talk, we want to talk only about Krishna. We want to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. When we cook, we want to cook for Krishna, and then we honor Krishna Prasadam. When we work in the office also, we want to do what is required for the 8 hours to 10 hours we work. Whatever money we get, we utilize that in the service of the Lord. Right? We don't want to engage in sense gratification. Whatever sense gratificatory propensities we have because of our past conditioning also, we try to dovetail it in the service of the Lord. Right? Like I mentioned. Right? If you like to sing nice bhajans for Krishna. If you like to eat nice palatable foodstuffs, offer it to the Lord first and have it as Krishna Prasadam. Right? In this way, there is scope for dovetailing all of our activities in the service of the Lord. And this is actual renunciation. Renunciation is now, Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, renunciation is not to not light a fire, right? But to utilize that fire to prepare nice foodstuffs for Krishna and utilize it for the service of the Lord, right? Actually, a sannyasi, it is said, should not light a fire, should not cross oceans and go, right? You should not cross an ocean, right? Because the sannyasi is supposed to be situated in the dham all the time, not moving here, there, etc. Right? It looks like Prabhupada did not follow any of the rules of a sannyasi, right? Prabhupada lit fire, Prabhupada made nice gulab jamuns, I gave it to everybody in the West. Prabhupada crossed the 7 oceans, right? Prabhupada crossed the ocean and went to America, went to Europe, United Kingdom, London, etc. Right? Did Prabhupada violate the rules of a sannyasi? No. Prabhupada took Vrindavan with him as he went to the Western world. Prabhupada lit fire, but what did he do? He offered Krishna nice, wonderful bhoga, and he offered Krishna prasadam. He offered Krishna to everybody in the form of Krishna prasadam. Right? So, in the terms of principle, we have to be very strict. But in terms of details, how we follow those principles, we have that leeway, right? But we cannot take that leeway for ourselves. We have to do it in consultation with senior devotees. Acharyas can amend, right? Before Prabhupada's time, they were all chanting 64 rounds. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, they were always chanting 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. But Prabhupada made it 16. The Acharyas can change the rules according to time, place, and circumstance. But we cannot change, right? Because we are conditioned jivas. We need to simply follow instructions. In case we are not able to follow certain things, we need to check with our senior authority, the temple president, our Siksha Gurus, our Diksha Guru. In that way, we can apply, we can take guidance on what we can do, what we cannot do, according to time, place, and circumstances. But the Acharyas can do that because the Acharya is one who practices himself and he is able to give Krishna to others. So Prabhupada and, the Acharyas of our bona fide parampara, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, they can make changes according to time, place, and circumstances. According in the sadhana stage, what we need to do, we need to simply follow instructions. If you're not able to follow certain instructions, we need to check with our Siksha Gurus, we need to check with our Diksha Guru and act in such a way, not for our sense gratification, not according to our comfort level, but according to what pleases Guru and Gauranga. If you please our Guru, Gauranga is pleased automatically. And Guru is there for us to consult, to act our to. Sometimes you're not able to follow certain things, right? So in such cases, personalized attention is given to us in the form of our Siksha Gurus who's coming in the bona fide Guru Parampara, who's the representative of our Guru Maharaj, who's the representative of Prabhupada, like that. So the principle is that always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Right? Smartavya satatam Vishnur, vismartavyo na jatuchit. Sarve vidi nishedyaso retayo reva kinkaraha. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is the principle. Everything else is details. But for amending the details, we need to ask our gurus, not amend ourselves. Because we are not qualified to do that in our present condition state. All right, let's move ahead in our reading. Who's going to read now? This is actually the perfectional stage of yoga. Okay, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This is actually the perfectional stage of yoga, and one who has attained this stage is said to have attained to yoga. This is to say that he has connected, joined or linked himself with the supreme whole. If a part is disconnected from a machine, it serves no function, but as soon as it's properly attached to the machine, it works properly and carries out its different functions. That is the meaning of yoga, joining with the supreme whole, serving in conjunction with the total machine. Presently, we are disconnected and our material fruitive activities are simply a waste of time. One who engages in such activity is described in the Bhagavad Gita as a muda, that is, rascal. Although one may earn thousands of dollars daily and be an important businessman, he is described in the Bhagavad Gita as a muda, rascal, because he is just wasting his time in eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. People do not stop to consider that they are actually working very hard for nothing. One who earns millions of dollars cannot really eat much more than a man who makes $10. A man who earns millions of dollars cannot mate with millions of women. This is not within his power. His mating power is the same as one who earns $10, just as his power of eating is the same. This is to say that our power of enjoyment is limited. One should therefore think, my enjoyment is the same as that of the man who's earning $10 daily. So why Am I working so hard to earn millions of dollars? Why am I wasting my energy? I should engage my time and energy in understanding God. That is the proper purpose of life. If one has no economic problems, he has sufficient time to understand Krishna consciousness. If we waste this precious time, he is called a muda, a rascal, or an ass.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you much.
Yeah, so very wonderful, isn't it? I was just thinking, it's great, Radhesham Prabhu's lecture. I think I have mentioned it several times, but it's worth rethinking about it and reiterating that because sometimes we forget. So in this case, what happened? There's this couple, husband and wife, Krishna conscious couple actually, practicing Krishna consciousness. So this husband, he was earning 45,000 rupees. And then he got an offer. You're working 10 hours a day, so you just work for another 2 hours. Now make it 12 hours, then you'll get 5,000 rupees more. And he comes to come home and he asked his wife. Wife is saying, okay, so let's go ahead. Just 2 more hours. Okay, we'll get 50,000 rupees. And then what happens? He starts working for 10, 12 hours. And then, he gets this backache. He gets this spondylitis problem. And then what happens? He every month he gives 5,000 to the doctor. So His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was asking in the class, did he gain anything? Then everybody was saying, no, he did not gain anything, Prabhu. Why? Because he was gaining 5,000 rupees more due to his hard work. And he was giving everything to the doctor. He was not gaining anything. And then Radhesham Prabhu said, no, he gained the backache. He gained all of those visits to the hospitals. He gained all those, the medicines that he had to take in order to cure himself. And any amount of medicine we take, it will never cure. It will always have its side effects. It will have its rippling effects on the health of our body, isn't it? So all those things he gained like that. So sometimes we think, just 2 more hours, let me work. Let me endeavor a little more. So it is like a donkey which is running for the carrot. Right? The carrot is tied to a pole, and that is tied to the donkey's head. Right? As the donkey is running, the pole and the carrot are also just going in front. The donkey is thinking, "Aur thoda bhagunga to mujhe mil jayega." Right? If I run a little more, I will catch that carrot and eat it. Right? But unfortunately, the carrot is never reached. Right? Because the carrot also runs along with the donkey. Isn't it? So the more we are trying to engage in sense gratification, the more we will be frustrated. The more we think, oh, let me endeavor a little more. Let me just gain a little more money. Then I will be happy. Then, that little more actually takes much more toll on our health, on our consciousness, on our mental ability to focus. Everything goes for a toss. Just a little more. That over endeavor is what we need to avoid. Right? Rupa Goswami also says, Atyahara prayasyascha prajalpaniyamagraha janasangasya laulyascha shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. Atya ahara, that means right from overeating to over endeavoring. Atyahara prayashascha. When we overeat, when we over endeavor, when we want more and more, we want to accumulate more and more and more. To that extent, we will become more and more frustrated, not more and more happy. Because happiness is never acquired according to how much we possess. Happiness is in accepting what we have as the mercy of the Lord. Right? I should not be eligible to get even this. But with the mercy of the Lord, I've got this much. Right? So we endeavor for 8 hours, 10 hours, according to our capacity, where we have sufficient time for our devotional services, we have sufficient time for our devotional practices. And if we get a lot of money, very good. We utilize that money in Krishna's service also, and then we work also. Right? It is not that Prabhupada said that we are not armchair philosophers. Arey baith ke pravachan do bas. Right? No. We are, in fact, devotees work more hard than even the normal people, because the devotees want to give their best endeavor for the pleasure of the Lord. Right? And in that way, the devotees are very, very busy. That's why the first chapter is also entitled Yoga is in action, not in thinking. Right? When thinking has to translate into action, now devotion has to reflect in the form of devotional service. Otherwise, devotion in the heart has no meaning. It's not that I have to be the best in what I'm doing, but I have to give my best. That is what is mentioned here. All right, let's quickly go ahead. So I should engage my time and energy in understanding God. That is the purpose of life. If one has no economic problems, it's sufficient time to understand Krishna consciousness. If he wastes this precious time, he's called a muda or rascal or an ass. Right? That's what it is. We spoke about the donkey, isn't it? Running, but no return. Right? That such a person is called a mudha. Avajananti ma mudha Manushim Tanumashritam, Param Bhavam Ajananto, Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram, right? Avajananti, Ma Muda. All those people are fools who don't understand Krishna. Avajananti. They don't know me as I am, right? All right. Now we'll ask, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. According to the preceding verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
According to the preceding verse, a person is said to have attained yoga when he has renounced all material desires. Once we are situated perfectly in yoga, we are satisfied. We no longer experience material desires. We no longer act for sense gratification or engage in a fruitive activity. When we speak of fruitive activity, we refer to activities carried out for the purpose of sense gratification. That is, we are earning money in order to gratify our senses. If one is virtuous, he engages in pious activities. He donates money to charities, opens hospitals, schools, etc. Although these are certainly virtuous activities, they are ultimately meant for sense gratification. How is this? If I donate to an educational institution, for instance, I will receive good educational facilities and will become highly educated in my next life. Being thus educated, I will attain a good position and will acquire a good amount of money. Then, how will I utilize this money for sense gratification? These virtuous and fruitive activities form a kind of cycle. We often hear the expression a better standard of life, but what does this mean? It is said that the standard of life in America is superior to that in India. But in both countries, there is eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Of course, in India, the quality of food may be better, but the eating process is there. A superior standard of life does not mean superior spiritual realization. It just means better eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This is called fruitive activities and it is based on sense gratification. Yoga has nothing to do with a sense gratification or fruitive activity. Yoga means connecting with the Supreme. Dhruva Maharaja underwent several austerities in order to see God. Mm, mm,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, Mataji. In order to see God, and when he finally saw God, he said, Swamin Kritartho, Smi Varam na Yache. My dear Lord, I am now fully satisfied. I am not asking for anything more. I do not want anything further benediction from you. Why didn't Dhruv Maharaj ask for benedictions? What is the benediction? Generally, benediction means receiving a great kingdom, a beautiful wife, palatable food, and so forth. But when one is actually connected with God, he does not want such benedictions. He is fully satisfied. Swamin Kritartho Smi Varam Na Yache. Actually, Dhruv
Hare
Maharaj
Krishna.
initially. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Haribol, that is. So here, very wonderful, isn't it? Prabhupada is quoting Dhruv Maharaj's story, right? Wherein Dhruv Maharaj actually wanted a kingdom which is much, much greater than his great grandfather. And he was actually, when Narada Muni came and told Dhruv that, oh, you're a small boy, right? So all these things happen, in a home, all these things happen. Don't take it seriously. And then what did he tell Dhruv Maharaj? Don't get worried about this, right? Just go home, everything will become all right. And what did Dhruv Maharaj say? Right? He was a Kshatriya, 5-year-old boy, and he told that if you have some mechanism to help me find God, then you tell me. Otherwise, I have no time to waste. So in this way, Narada Muni saw in Dhruv Maharaj his own chavi, or like they say, he was also in the past very determined. Right? We see in the first canto of Bhagavatam how after the Bhakti Vedantas actually give their Uchishta to Narada the boy, and then his mother gets bitten by this snake and the mother dies. And then what does he do? He immediately starts walking to the north, and then he meditates on the words of the Bhakti Vedantists, and he meditates on the Lord, and he gets darshan of the Lord just for a split second. And then the Lord says, you will not get my darshan anymore in this life. So continue to practice devotional service. And the next body, he got the spiritual body of Narada Muni, where he travels like a transcendental spaceman. Right? He could see himself in this boy, Dhruv, who was also very, very determined. He's telling, I want to meet Krishna. Right? Although he had his desire was material, that he wanted a kingdom greater than forefathers, right? But he was very determined. He was very sincere, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. If the spiritual master is able to give me Krishna, only then I'm interested. I'm not interested in talking to otherwise. Such determination to find Krishna is very rare. And Nardamuni gave him this mantra, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He chanted. When he chanted the holy names of Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, at that time that was the mantra. What happened? His consciousness got purified. Similarly, we can draw a parallel to our desires. We have so many material desires, right? But simply when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we are sincere and our desire is to please Lord Krishna, then what happens? Our heart gets purified. In this way, Dhruv Maharaj's heart also got purified. And then finally, when the Lord gave him a kingdom, which is much, much more, he gave a separate planet only to him, Dhruva Loka. And he also said, I will come and be sorry, what is that? The pole star it is called, right? The planet. A special pole star, Dhruv Loka was given to him. But what did Dhruv Maharaj say? Dhruv Maharaj said, I'm not interested. Actually, I'm not. Actually, I asked for pieces of glass, right? But you have given me a diamond, which is your own darshan, which is devotion unto you. So what is the use of all these broken pieces of glass when I've got the diamond? Yet the Lord gave him Dhruvaloka and also gave him pure bhakti, because the Lord touched Dhruv Maharaj's head with his own transcendental conch shell. And what happened? His heart got purified, right? With the sparsha with the Lord makes us so pure. Association with the Lord, just like the sun purifies, the urine, the other the polluting substances on the earth. The sun god, by his effulgence, right? He actually purifies everything. But the sun does not get affected by this urine and other things which are there in the earth. The sun's rays only purifies all of these defecatory substances on the earth. Similarly, simply by smaranam of the Lord, simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we get, by the potency of the Lord's mercy, we get purified. That is what happens when you're doing Cheto Darpana Marjanam happens in our heart when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when the Lord's conch shell personally touched Dhruv Maharaj, it was completely in ecstasy. And he started crying, tears started flowing from his eyes, and he was regretting so much. Oh, why did I want this broken pieces of glass? Why did I want such kingdom? And what does he say? Swamin Kritarto Asmi Varam Nayache. I don't want any other benediction. Right? Swamin is and Varam Nayache. Yachina means to ask for. Varam Nayache. I don't want any benediction. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitamba jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, Bhavatad bhakti rahaitu kitvai. Right? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. I don't want wealth. I don't want followers. Na sundarim. I don't want attraction from the opposite sex. What do I want? Mama janmani janmanishware. Birth after birth. My only desire is Mama janmani janmanishware. Bhavatad bhakti rahaitu kitvai. Let me render causeless, unmotivated, uninterrupted service unto you, O Lord Sri Krishna. Now, that is my only desire. I'm not interested in getting anything else. That should be the mode of a devotee when he is actually worshipping the Supreme Lord. Right? That's what Dhruv Maharaj is saying. Swamin Kritarto Asmi Varam Nayache. Asmi means I don't need any benediction. Now that I've seen you, O Lord, I don't want anything else. Right? So next 2 paragraphs somebody can read. It's going into the details of Dhruv Maharaj's pastimes. How he wanted to sit in his father's lap. And then his mother, Suniti, his father, Uttanapad, he had 2 wives, Suniti and Suruchi. He was attracted to Suruchi because Suruchi was very beautiful externally. And Suniti was the mother of Dhruv. And the other, Suruchi's son was Uttam. Uttam was sitting on the lap of his father, Uttanapad. And then Dhruv also wanted to sit on his father's lap. He asked his father, but Suruchi, she told him that you need to be born from my womb. Only then you can get to sit on your father's lap. And then this little boy, 5-year-old boy, he starts crying. And because he looked at his father did not tell anything. So he ran away to his mother. And his mother told that, oh, your father likes the other queen much more. But you don't worry. Although I am not able to help you, the one person who always helps everybody is Lord Krishna. And then this boy is asking, where is Lord Krishna? I want to meet him. If he can help me, I want to meet him. And then, his mother Suniti says that, I've heard that the Lord is in the forest, in the North Pole. Walk to the north, and then you will find the Lord. So in this way, he starts walking, and that's when he meets Narada Muni. And Narada Muni guides him where to do, what to chant, where he has to chant and everything. He followed the instructions. and he attained the destination, which was much much higher than what he actually desired. Yeah, so that's what we will read now. So who will read? Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, will end with you. You can go ahead and read it. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavats. Yes.
Am I audible, Mataji? I'm traveling.
Yes, Mataji.
Actually,
You're audible.
Actually,
You're more
Dhruva
clear than
Maharaj.
what you usually are. Go ahead.
Actually, Dhruva Maharaja initially searched for God in order to attain his father's kingdom. Dhruva Maharaj's mother was rejected by his father, and his stepmother resented his sitting on his father's lap. Indeed, he forbade him to sit on his father's lap because Dhruva Maharaja was not born from her womb. Although only 5 years old, Dhruva Maharaj was a Kshatriya, and he took this as a great insult. Going to his own mother, he said, my stepmother has insulted me by forbidding me to sit on my father's lap. Dhruva Maharaj then started to cry, and his mother said, my dear boy, what can I do? Your father loves your stepmother more than he loves me. I can do nothing. Dhruva Maharaj then said, but I want my father's kingdom. Tell me how can I get it? My dear boy, his mother said, if Krishna blesses you, you can get it. Where is God? Dhruva Maharaj asked, oh, it is said that God is in the forest. His mother said, great sages go to the forest to search for God. Mataji, scroll it up. No? Mataji. Hearing this, Dhruva Maharaj went directly to the forest and began to perform severe penances. Finally, he sought God, and when he saw him, he no longer desired his father's kingdom. Instead, he said, my dear Lord, I was searching.
I was searching for some pebbles. Hare Krishna. Okay, looks like we lost Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji, you're there? I no longer care for my father's kingdom. Now I am fully satisfied. Hare Krishna. Okay. When one is actually connected with God, he is totally satisfied. His satisfaction is infinitely greater than so-called enjoyment in this material world. This is the satisfaction resulting from God realization, and that is the perfection of yoga. That is our our book title also, right? Path of perfection. What is the path of perfection? Infinitely happiness we can obtain if we are if we derive satisfaction from God realization. If we are satisfied, then the Lord is satisfied. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. If you are satisfied by rendering devotional service, that is the perfection of our life. Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, we are not able to hear you as always. Again, the problem has come. Shobha Mataji, would you like to read last paragraph for today?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranama.
Dandavats Mataji, yes.
When a person is fully transformed into loving soul.
Oh, Mataji, your voice is breaking and very low.
When a person is fully engaged, am I audible, Mata? Into transformed into loving
No.
soul of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and that he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be gratification, since one cannot.
Very low, Mataji. Your voice is breaking also.
Haribol. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification. Since one cannot live without engagement, it is impossible to cease all activity. As stated before, it is our nature as living entities to act. It is said, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. If we have no Krishna conscious engagement, we will engage in sense gratification or fruitive activity. If a child, can you raise the screen, Mataji?
Mataji, it's already visible.
Any proof?
The child is not.
Yeah, if a child is not trained or educated, he becomes spoiled. If one does not practice the yoga system, if he does not attempt to control his senses by the yoga process, he will engage his senses in their own gratification. When one is gratifying his senses, there is no question of practicing yoga.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Without
Mataji.
Krishna consciousness, one must be all.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so the voice was breaking actually, so that's fine. Okay, so here Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita also about param drishtva nivartate, right? Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. It is not possible to become someone who does no activities, right? We were discussing that, right? So what do we have to do? We have to perform activities even for the maintenance of our body. We have to perform activities. But how should we perform our activity? We should perform our activity not for sense gratification, but for the pleasure of the Lord. That's all it is, right? If we have no Krishna conscious engagement, we will engage in sense gratificatory activities. Activities we will always perform. But we have a choice. We have the free will. What kind of activities we want to engage in? Whether we want to engage in Krishna conscious activities or whether we want to engage in sense gratificatory activities. Okay. Who will read now? I saw a couple of hands. Okay. Sarva Gopeshwari Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self-centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from the sense gratification. One who has not realized Krishna must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So we will end here. Okay, it's already 1:22. Okay, so here I wanted to end on this note that we need not artificially give up our sense gratificatory activities, right? We were talking about how if you want to have nice Szechuan fried rice, then we make it at home, offer to Krishna, and then have it, right? We don't artificially suppress our desires because a suppressed desire means that we are what is that? Vishaya vinivartante. No, what is that? Kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhavaha. We have this kama, and because if our desire is not fulfilled, we are suppressing our desire, then what happens? Then krodha arises. And if you are not if you have fulfilled our desire also, then what happens? Greed arises. And so in this way, we can never be happy by suppressing or by being greedy. But when we dovetail all of our activities or even our desires by serving the Lord, by offering it to the Lord and then having them, then ultimately we will get purified. Just like Dhruv Maharaj. He had this desire, but ultimately he got purified because he was following the instructions of his spiritual master. Then automatically the desires got purified. He did not have to artificially give up activities or he did not have to give up desires also. He simply continued his practice of devotional service and automatically his heart got purified, right? This is called param drishtva nivartate. By getting a higher taste, one automatically can give up the lower tastes. One need not mechanically try to give up the material desires. One only need to develop spiritual desires. And in the pursuit of spiritual desires, when one pleases Lord Shri Krishna, then all the lower desires automatically fade away, right? On that note, we will end our today's session. I thank you all for your kind attention. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's see who all we have today. We have Karpagavali Mataji, we have Shobha Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, we have Sarva Gopeshwari Mataji, Sneha Prabha Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji, you will always continue to inspire us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Nav Kishori Mataji is also giving us darshan. Thank you. Sindhu Mataji is giving us her fans darshan. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Sindhu Mataji is also giving her darshan. Thank you so much. Vancha Kalpataru. Navakishwari Mataji, I'm just taking a screenshot. So your darshan will be nice to have. Just know darshan, Sneha Prabha Mataji. All right. Thank you very much. Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Darshana Pavitra Kare Ye Tomara Gun. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So in case anyone wants to share anything, ask anything, then you may do so now. Otherwise, we can end the session. We'll meet tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock for our most important activity, which is chanting of Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you.